So it's 3 days before Christmas. I don't know how I look on the video, but as I'm recording this, I have a major sore in my mouth. I'm actually kind of making this video to practice speaking in this kind of condition. I got to work at a tutoring center later today. Fortunately, at the tutoring center, people won't see how my mouth is moving in response to my talking. Right? That's good, right? Thank God it happened this year. But I was just thinking about a sentiment that I used to have when my mouth would be sore. You know, many years ago when I was addicted to eating, compulsive eating, mouth sores used to be a big letdown for me because I wanted to get back to my food. And oftentimes I would jam food down despite having discomfort like that, right? Nowadays, I'll go enjoy something else, right? When I was working on my PhD, I was addicted to food. Obviously, I often didn't have as much money as I did now to abuse food, right? And I would look for opportunities to get free food somewhere, right? This is the late 2000s, early 2010s that we were talking about. People were starting to eat healthier. And oftentimes you would go to a campus event like a party or a graduation, and there would be healthy options available, salads, fresh fruit, and I would go there and I would gorge myself to death. And at the time I really didn't care about keeping up with appearances. I just needed my food, and now looking back at it, it's sad because I lost a number of opportunities to connect with people when I was just I was chasing the dragon. I used to love when the school would send me out to a conference because they would pay for your expenses. Now, I have difficulty with restaurant foods because I have allergies. Even back home, it takes me a while to find suitable restaurants, and then I frequent those restaurants because they know what to prepare for me. And so I would get a hostel instead of a hotel room, and then I would get a ton of food to gorge myself to death because the school was covering it. I mean, they were already saving a lot of money on the housing because I would get a hostel instead of a hotel room. So they overlooked the fact that I was spending a fortune on food because I was still spending a lot less than somebody else going to the same conference, right? And it was understood that I had dietary restrictions, so that's good. But I really made a fool of myself because instead of enjoying the new city that I was traveling to, I had a conference in Italy, I had one in Boston. Instead of enjoying all that, I had one in New York. Instead of enjoying all that, I was gorging myself to death during the trips. And now looking back at it, I really regret it. Now, one time I was getting ready to go to such a conference, and my mouth started acting up. And I was just depressed out of my mind. It was two or three nights before the conference, and you gotta understand, when you get a mouth sore that's really painful, it doesn't start out like that. You feel a little scratch there, like, oh no! I was upset. But I still tried to gorge myself during the conference. I just made myself doubly miserable. You see, now I'm not even upset about my mouth. I won't be able to eat much during the Christmas holiday, but I'll probably write some computer games. I'll maybe go bowling. Thank God my hands are not sore. Ever since I started bowling, I get very upset when something happens to my hands. Right? The other day, I had a paper cut, and then a while ago, my hands were really sore from something else. And that was really upsetting for me, right? 10 years ago, when I was addicted to eating, it was mouth sores that were very upsetting to me. Now, 2 years ago, I just returned home from Taiwan. I was there in November of 2019. I got home and I was deathly ill for a few days, and I lost my appetite. I don't know if it was COVID-19, though. I eventually tested positive for the antibodies, and I was upset because I really wanted to get to my favorite foods. I wasn't as upset as I was 10 years ago. I mean, I had already started to try to enjoy other things besides food. I watched a couple YouTube videos, And I really stood up for myself that time. I used to routinely go to work when I was sick. And I had bad experiences with that. And I really spoke up and took some time off that time. Thank God I did, right? Because we didn't know how serious that was, right? I thought it was a routine cold or flu, right? Or some kind of allergy, right? But I was upset that I wanted to get well fast because I wanted to get back to my favorite foods. And now looking back at it, it really distracted me from all the other enjoyments of life. There's something else that I used to not be able to see life without. 12 years ago, I was in an abusive relationship with a girl. She was a very high maintenance girl. And part of the reason I didn't leave her was that I thought there wasn't life after the girl. I couldn't go out to a restaurant, go to a movie, go on vacation. What am I going to do? We got summer coming up. And eventually I almost dropped out of school, and I was kind of forced out of the relationship. I still wouldn't have broken up with her if the rest of my life didn't suffer the way it did, right? Thank God I don't live off of a trust fund, so I was kind of forced out of the relationship. And then I went out alone, and I had a really good time. And so after that event, 12 years ago now, it's crazy how quick time passes, I realized that I can enjoy life with or without the girl. And that's the phrase I like to use, with or without. With or without food, I'm going to have a good Christmas time. With or without the girl, I'm going to go out on Friday night. And the thing what I quickly realized after that was that when I had the mentality of with or without, I could accurately, much more accurately judge a girl and not be emotional about it, right? Because in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm going to go see this movie on Friday with or without, right? Is it going to be with or is it going to be without, right? Rather than, oh my God, how am I going to make this work? Oh my God, I don't know how to go to the movie on Friday, right? Anyway, I'm gonna have to feel that way about other things in life too, right? But I think food and sex were the big ones that I didn't know how life worked without, and I'm very thankful that I don't feel that way anymore. Oftentimes when I talk about this concept, I like to wish everybody a happy 4th of July because it feels like liberation from those two concepts, right? They used to be all controlling in my life. Happy 4th of July.